When we come to this planet, we're not given the decision to be who we want to be, let alone give permission to allow ourselves to be. We probably grew up in families that didn't tolerate how hyper we were, how creative we were. They didn't understand the processing of our own existence and how we portrayed ourselves to the world. And because of this, we probably grew up thinking that we need a job, we need a family, we need a house. Particularly, we need to surround our goals in the same way everyone in society has the same goals. The older we get, the more we start to realize how unsatisfied we are with that way of living and thinking, to the point we don't want to be nothing like our family members, nothing like our parents. But this leaves us astray because we're trying so hard to discover who we are. What do we like? What do I like? What do I want? We struggle with this because we have identified ourselves with the things that we were told to want and be. And because of this, we don't know how to not identify with those things and start realizing, are we wearing a mask? Are we not truly unveiling our real selves? So on today's episode, I want to share with you how to unveil the mask and discover who your true self is, regardless if you're emotionally struggling with this, mentally struggling with this. Stay tuned to the very end of this video because I guarantee you, you are going to start realizing how you never lost yourself. You just didn't know you were there the whole time. And now you're ready to listen. What is Gucci beautiful beings? Welcome back, awakened ones, on another episode on Embracing Ascension series with your homegirl Brittany Fontanez. If you're new to this channel, so glad to have you here. If you've been on this journey with me so far, gang, only love, you know who you is. On this channel, I am an energetic activator here to assist you to awaken things you have yet to see with your emotional awareness to go upon your spiritual evolution. If you want to know anything more about me, go to Linktree, buy this QR code, or go in the description box below. But until then, beautiful beings, let's get into this video where I want to share with you how to unveil the mask and discover your true self. Now, as we start talking about this topic, it could be a little esoteric, but it also could be very difficult for you to understand that you're not just a physical vessel existing in this world. You're actually an unseen force that can't be tamed. Hence why you desire freedom. Hence why you desire not to be like what you grew up in or be defined by your past. But I want to start off with you realizing why you identify yourself with the concepts and the environment that you have been living in and grew up in. Identification, if you look at it in a deep sense in history, we have a social security card or we have some form of identification. It's just a number for us to be recognized within this system in order for them to write us off or for them to get a payoff from us, either living or dead. And that's just the honest God truth. Now, because of this identification, we go to school and we are taught to memorize. We are taught to be prepared for the workforce, to make this system more prosperous. But in this entanglement of being told, to live this way, to be this way, get good grades, dress this way, be proper, have a good impression, be in the state of perfectionism so people don't see who you truly are and don't express it. Otherwise, no one's gonna like you. And because of this, we live in such an estranged world, meaning that we're not allowed to be our true selves, or we're shunned from being our true selves or speaking our truth. And this is where we struggle with putting an effort towards discovering ourselves, hence even loving ourselves. So we put on this mask to expose to the world, this is who I am, or this is how I want you to portray me as. And this is where we lie, and the ego, ego, edging God out, edging the true force that lies within you, that has put you upon this planet not to fit in. But why do we fit in? Yes, we were told to, but we identify with that. And because we subconsciously identify with this, we struggle with learning how to identify ourselves as that. And that's where we could get lost in the grieving of letting go of an old identity of ourselves. And this is why a lot of us don't fight off those bad habits. This is why a lot of us don't want to let go of those substances. This is why a lot of us don't want to let go of a particular lifestyle, because we're so accustomed to it. I'm a huge believer. When you identify yourself with something, you end up depending on it. And I could give really clear-cut examples of being identified with a job. And when you lose a job, you fear that I'm worthless because I don't have money, or I'm a failure because I'm not making a name for myself. And we could identify our worth based on a job, and we could identify our worth based on money. But realize when we came to this planet, we didn't need any of that in order for us to exist. Or we could identify ourselves from having a relationship and it's over, and all of a sudden we feel so lost. We can identify ourselves with particular friendships, but then again, when they leave our lives, we think we are a loner, or we think there's something wrong with us. Or we can identify with our family, and we don't want to separate ourselves from them for a little bit amount of time for us to discover ourselves, because we don't want them to feel bad. And thinking this way really makes us discard and neglect and abandon ourselves. But here's the reason why a lot of us find difficulties in choosing ourselves, is because we were told not to. What happens when you choose yourself? You start making better decisions. What happens when you make better decisions? You're able to let go of things that are not serving you. And what happens when you let go of things that don't serve you? You find the discipline to master yourself. And this is why we are not taught self-mastery. This is why when you are learning about self-development, you're learning all these different particular books and these authors that have done the inner work and have done the self-discovery, because they're here to assist you to realize that you are not here to be another number. You're not here to be another product of your environment. You're not here to make your parents happy. You're not here to make other people happy. You're not here to make people like you. Because I'm a believer, if one person is liked by everyone, there's something off about that person. But I'm a huge believer that I'd rather be loved for who I am rather than be loved for who I am not. Even if that means I'm going to be alone. Even if that means I have a little small circle of friends. Even if that means that my family gets so irritated by me choosing myself or setting boundaries. I don't care. The reason why I don't care, and the reason why I'm sharing that with you, because I want you to recognize you didn't come to this planet to only serve the world. You came to this planet to discover how your true self is here to serve the world in a higher form. And the way to stop identifying yourself with this world is realizing, why is it that you're so accustomed to unsatisfaction? Yes, it may feel nice in the moment to have instant gratification of a drink, of a smoke, of being around people because you don't want to feel lonely, of being in a relationship you're not fully satisfied in, or being in a job you're not fully happy with, knowing that you're getting other job opportunities. Or just choosing to, like that saying where parents tell us, be reckless in your 20s, go party, go do this. But instead, you want to work on your damn goals, no matter how long it takes for them to be achieved. The more focus, the more intention, and the more discipline you put onto it now in your young age, you could retire young, not old. That's another example. And I share this with you guys is because there's nothing wrong with you realizing how you don't want to be like the world. There's nothing wrong with you not wanting to be like your bloodline. There's nothing wrong with you thinking big or having a big heart. But what is wrong is you neglecting that vision that was put within you and not listening to that internal call. And if you're choosing to start listening to that internal call, I want to give you some suggestions on how to help you deprogram these programs of you solidifying yourself with the world that you're unsatisfied, and how to start living from the world within. And yes, it requires you to be a little delusional, but think about this. The people who are in the place that we deem them gods or on a pedestal is because they were a little delusional, because they knew their inner world and their imagination was the powerhouse for them to bring to life the visions that they had. Be a little delusional. We weren't given imagination for no damn reason. We were given an imagination so we could learn to identify with our true selves, because our true self is our imagination, not the things of this world that makes us into an identification. So, suggestions I want to give to you. Allow yourself to grieve. That's the number one powerful thing to understand. Learning how to grieve the old version of you is giving you the ability to realize it served its purpose. But if you're no longer happy with it, it doesn't mean you're abandoning that part of yourself. It just means you're maturing. Now, the second suggestion I want to give to you guys, when you start to learn or identify with your true selves, stop caring about if people like you or love you. It's not your priority to care how people feel about you. It's none of your business, really. What's your priority is how you feel about yourself. Because if you hold shame because of someone's validation or opinion of you, then what you're doing is letting them have power over you. The only power you have is how you perceive yourself. And the only power that they have is the perception that they have of themselves in the world. And it has absolutely nothing to do with you. The third suggestion I want to give to you. Stop trying to change the world. And stop trying to change people. And stop trying to help them. Yes, you're here to serve in your own manner that suits you to be the best. Like for me, for these videos. I do it for other people because I'm serving. But I do it because it makes me feel good. Because this is my purpose. I have a sense of wisdom that I don't understand why I know these things. But hey, I know them. Might as well share them. They help me. They might help you. So in a way, I'm giving and receiving. That's how you should be. Fourth suggestion I want to give. Accept life the way that it is. And the reason why I say exception is the number one way to allow the unfolding of things to happen. When you can accept that you're becoming aware of all these identifications, of all these ways of thinking and how you're dependent on this world, when you start realizing it, you got to accept that, wow, I really did that. Because exception is accountability. When you accept who you have been, you are able to take accountability and responsibility, because with responsibility, you start to become the leader of how to make solutions and changes. So when you learn to accept where your reality was and where it currently is, you'll be able to make space and take the actionable steps towards creating a new way of being. Now, the last suggestion I want to give is that pretty simplistic, may sound weird, but really, or cliche at that, really understand the power of your heart. Your heart is the one that is kind of like the black sheep of the chakra system. We have 7 chakras, but the heart is the one that's the most powerful. It holds more neurons than the mind. The reason why it's the most powerful is because that's where our life force is. What makes us human is the power of emotion, hence energy and motion. When you start to get in tune with your heart, you allow the energetic atmosphere and the fear, the auric field of it, to be able to expand. When the heart has this much power, because the body wouldn't be able to operate without the heart. So when you start putting focus on your heart and you start being able to feel into it, you start being able to listen to it, the heart will guide you. And it gets to a point where your mind has no choice but to be silent the more focus you put on the heart. And how powerful that is when the mind that lives in fear And we were taught to believe the mind because they know it's the quickest way to be manipulated by the world. When you listen to your heart, you're listening to your truth. You're listening to what the God force put within you. You're listening to your wants, to your loves, to what you dislike, and to what you don't love. And it helps you realize how to feel in order to learn, in order to heal. So listening to your heart gives you the capability to realize how much you love and adore yourself. And even if you don't know how to, the more you focus on your heart, you give yourself permission to unveil those false identities, that heartbreak, that pain, and it starts to melt away the more you start to feel, the more you start to listen to it. So, beautiful beings, I'm sharing all of this with you is because it's time that we really stop being scared of who we are. I stopped. It gotten to the point lately. Well, it's been happening since this last year and the starting of this year. How much I stopped caring about how people perceive me. How much I stopped caring about, thinking I need these particular things to make me happy, or identifying with things that myself was so accustomed to. When I started to realize, man, I'm a jack of all trades, but I may have skills and loves for a lot of things, but I put my time into mastering all those things because I don't want to identify with one thing. So if I don't identify with one thing, I will always have multiple plans and multiple processes. If one thing doesn't work out for me, I can go to another thing. But no matter what, I know what I love. So I have a catalog of different abilities and skills and assets that I could put my focus onto if one doesn't work out. So I share this so you can stop identifying yourself with what you've been told or what you've been programmed with, and start realizing that it's a good thing not to be like this world. It's a good thing to stand out. So you might as well show up and show out. But do it for you. Do it for your existence. Give yourself permission and do yourself a favor to no longer hide who you desire to be. Even if that means you don't have it physically. Even if it means people think you're delusional. Apue, meaning okay in Spanish. It just means you're doing it for you. You're doing it to make yourself feel good about you. You're doing it to make yourself not hold on to any burdens. Because little do we know that most of the pains and identifications that we identify and are accustomed to was just people trying to make us be someone because they needed control over something, because they didn't have control over themselves or their lives. So you might as well be okay losing people. You might as well be okay with losing things, because at the end of the day, we are in a universe that is so much more intelligent than us, that it knows how to make a way for us regardless if one way doesn't work out. So you might as well trust yourself and trust your inner flow, because the more you trust within what is going on inside, the more the inside will reflect on the outside, to the point you're not going to rely on your happiness by what you perceive. You're going to rely on the happiness by what's within. And that is the only source of happiness. So, beautiful beings, that's all I wanted to share with you in today's video, is to stop identifying yourself and take off the mask. I know you're a little hydrated. I know it's hot wearing that mask. I know you're tired. But might as well be who you want to be. Whether you have a big mind, a big heart, a loving person, a kind person, an optimistic person, an emotional person, a vulnerable person, a tender heart. Whatever shall you be, allow yourself to be. Because you might as well be happy when you're on your deathbed, knowing that you were who you truly were and have no regrets. Other than that, beautiful beings, if you found this video informative or has brought some sense of inspiration or a sense of clearing, please hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification button. But until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay blessed, and I'll see you on the next one. All the love.